So 1,000 people visited your perfectly designed StoryBrand landing page this week, but absolutely zero of them decided you were actually worth talking to. If you followed all the rules only to be met with the kind of deafening silence usually reserved for a terrible open mic comedian, keep watching. Because right now, tweaking your headlines is like putting a fresh coat of paint on a condemned building. Your words aren't the problem, your positioning is. Hi, I'm Vicky Sidler and I build failure-proof marketing systems for a living. And there is a very specific, tragic type of business owner who comes to me after doing everything the internet gurus told them to do. They read the book, they built the funnel, they hired the copywriter, and yet they still get absolutely nothing. And the most uncomfortable part of that realization is that their execution was actually flawless. The StoryBrand framework is legitimately useful. You get the hero, the guide, the plan, the stakes, and on paper, it's a masterpiece. But the issue is what happens when the founders apply a completely sound messaging framework to an offer that is playing the wrong role entirely. Because a perfectly polished StoryBrand page on a mispositioned offer doesn't just fail quietly, it fails efficiently. It just brings the wrong people in faster with terrifying precision and at a much higher cost. The wrong diagnosis of "we just need better words" sends founders back to the exact same corporate doom loop. Fire the copywriter, buy another course, change the button color from blue to slightly darker blue. But if the words were never the culprit, there is something upstream that actually is. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So let's talk about what positioning actually is. Now, here is what almost nobody tells you. Positioning isn't a cute little brand exercise you do once on a whiteboard and then ignore for 5 years. It is 3 very specific decisions, usually made completely by accident, but it controls whether your offer feels obvious or invisible to your ideal client. So decision 1 is your category. Calling yourself a consultant is like calling yourself a carbon-based life form. It is technically true, but absolutely nobody is typing that into Google when their business is on fire. And your category dictates the comparison set buyers use to judge you. Decision 2 is who exactly is it for? Small businesses is not a niche. It is literally half the global economy. That is like a doctor saying their medical specialty is things with blood. Specificity is what makes a buyer feel seen, and feeling seen is the only thing that creates urgency. Decision 3 is why they should choose you over doing it themselves, over a generic agency, or over just watching Netflix and doing nothing. If you can't answer that in a single sentence that makes a specific person emphatically nod their head, your positioning is basically doing the work of a coin flip. Messaging is just how you talk about those 3 decisions. If the decisions themselves are vague, then no amount of aggressively polishing the language will save you. Because repainting a house built on quicksand is still a fantastic way to lose a house. Now, before you look at another headline, it's worth knowing exactly where your positioning is leaking. That's why I built the failure-proof marketing test, to ask you a few direct questions and show you the specific weak points keeping you in feast or famine cycle. So pause the video and grab it now. You can get it at strategicmarketingtribe.com/test, or there's a link in the description below. But now knowing what positioning is a lot less useful than understanding why otherwise smart founders keep skipping it. And the answer involves a very unflattering truth about dashboards. The reason founders reach for marketing fixes first isn't laziness. It's that marketing actually hands them a report card. Ads show click-through rates, Email platforms log open rates. Landing pages aggressively count every single non-conversion. These numbers are real. They are deeply uncomfortable, but they create the powerful, seductive illusion that the data is pointing at the problem. But positioning doesn't have a dashboard. There is no "your clients think you are an overpriced commodity" pie chart. There is no corporate jargon overload metric. There is no flashing red alert that fires when your niche is way too broad to actually mean anything. So founders do what rational people do with incomplete information. They relentlessly optimize what they actually can measure and completely assume that the invisible stuff is fine. The result is a founder who keeps A/B testing their way through a massive structural problem, staring at a 0.02% conversion rate and wondering if changing the headline font to Helvetica will magically fix the fact that nobody wants what they are selling. But the brands that finally figured this out didn't fix their messaging. They fixed the role they were playing in the market. And these examples are much stranger than you'd expect. So if you've ever told yourself that positioning is only for massive corporations with brand teams on retainer, then Colgate would like a word with you. So years ago, Colgate launched a line of frozen meals. The internal corporate logic was totally sound. People trust us, people eat food, so this should definitely work. What Colgate completely forgot is that buyers explicitly associated their brand with minty freshness and dental hygiene, not Italian carbs. The product didn't fail because it tasted bad. It failed because eating toothpaste branded meat is a deeply upsetting concept. Or look at Crystal Pepsi, who tried to differentiate on visual novelty by making a clear cola because absolutely nobody in the room stopped to ask whether humans actually wanted to drink transparent soda. And they didn't. They had a unique product, but there was zero demand. Or Cosmopolitan magazine, who launched a yogurt line. So Cosmo's audience definitely ate yogurt, but they absolutely did not trust the fashion magazine to safely manufacture dairy products, and 18 months later, it was dead. In every single case, the actual offer wasn't terrible, but the positioning made it completely impossible for buyers to connect the dots. And no amount of clever copywriting was ever going to fix that. The difference between a brand that buyers immediately get and one they blindly scroll past comes down to 3 specific levers. Now, most positioning problems aren't mysterious. They come from one of 3 places, and the fix for each one is way more specific than just niche down. So level 1 is your niche. The only version of a niche that actually works, though, is the one where a specific type of person reads your website and thinks, that is describing me perfectly. If your niche is everyone, your positioning is no one in particular. Level 2 is your point of view. Your point of view is the core set of beliefs that run through your content. If your entire point of view is we work really hard and care about our clients, then congratulations, you have the exact same positioning as a golden retriever. Your positioning needs to be a sharp line in the sand. Tesla doesn't just sell cars. It sells the feeling of being better than your neighbors while supposedly saving the polar bears. Patagonia positions buyers as environmental stewards. At my agency, I don't just sell marketing. I position my clients as trustworthy humans cutting through a sea of toxic automated AI slop. That isn't messaging. That is a positioning statement that became an impenetrable moat. And level 3 is offer focus. A great offer is not an all-you-can-eat buffet. Now, I can already hear some of you screaming at the screen, but Vicky, my business is complicated, and we have way too much going on for just one offer. Listen to me. If you think you need 20 different offers to appease 20 different audiences, that is not a sophisticated business model. That is a massive, glaring symptom of weak positioning. Giving people a massive drop-down menu of services just induces an immediate panic attack. To see what I mean, look at Chipotle and Taco Bell. They technically both sell fast Mexican food, but they barely compete because their offers are laser focused. Taco Bell is aggressively targeting a teenager with $3 at 2 a.m. who wants a taco made out of Doritos, while Chipotle is targeting a millennial who wants to feel ethically superior about eating a 1,000-calorie burrito at noon. Now, at my agency, we technically do all the things like SEO, content, ads, social media, but I do not lead with a confusing menu of 20 services. My single focused entry point is the failure-proof marketing roadmap. If you confuse your buyer with a buffet, you lose them entirely. But there is one more thing, a practical test you can run right now before you spend another single dollar on ads. And if this is landing for you and you want more of this practical, no-nonsense breakdown, then hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, before you rewrite a single word of your landing page, there is a 10-minute test that will tell you whether you have a messaging problem or a positioning problem. So find a Facebook group, a Reddit community, or a LinkedIn network where your ideal clients actually hang out. Then post one short message. I'm considering creating your offer for specific type of person dealing with specific problem. I'm not selling anything, just trying to understand if this is actually worth building. Would this be genuinely useful for you? That's it. And if absolutely nobody comments, nobody raises their hand, nobody clicks the poll, you do not have a messaging problem. You have a nobody wants this problem. StoryBrand cannot save an offer your market doesn't recognize as necessary. An AI copywriter cannot save it. The move at that point is not a better headline, it is a better fit. This test is uncomfortable, but precisely because it bypasses every corporate safety blanket dashboard that lets you avoid the real question. Does anyone actually want this from you for this exact reason? Now, the order of operations matters more than any individual tactic. Clarify your category, commit to a niche, articulate a sharp positioning statement, and tighten your offer. Then, and only then, let your messaging do its job. Now, you're probably wondering why StoryBrand specifically keeps coming up and what a certified guide actually thinks it can and cannot do for your business. So click the video on the screen and I'll show you exactly what I mean right now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you there.